Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly film news. I am your host, Pat, and as always, my co-host Tony's here. Tony, how's your week been? How you doing? How you doing?
Hey man, doing good. It is super nice to be back into our film news groove. I have
Hmm.
missed this format. It's been a while.
It's been a minute. It's been yeah, especially because since we had all of the Oscars stuff, and then we were off for a bit, so it's nice to get into the full episode, the full
Yeah,
length film news. I think it's been like a slow couple weeks for like film stuff in general, even some releases. Like, I mean, there's two big releases like this week, but even next week, it's still pretty light. Like, it doesn't seem like there's much coming until May hits.
definitely. I kind of get the feeling that like March and April are the new like January, February, which kind of like sucks. I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of studios are scared now to release films in March and April because they'll be forgotten by the time like the Oscars
Hmm.
are out. But I mean, Sinners was released in April. It all depends on like if
Hmm.
you actually have a film or not now.
Yeah, I mean, Project Hail Mary is doing very well, tracking 700
Mm-hmm.
million finish, and I think that might be a an Oscar Best Picture nominee next year. So you can quote it here,
Yeah,
quote it here.
I ate my words with that one for sure. I mean, I wouldn't have watched that in the format that I did or have actually caught that film unless it was for you taking me to go
Hmm.
see that movie. I personally just think that film thrives alone on the screenplay and
Mm.
yeah, the format and everything is great, but I mean, I'm gonna sing the same tune. Like cinema and movies are for more than film bros, and
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
movie would thrive even outside of that market. And it is. That's why it's
Mm.
doing so well. It's not tracking as well as it should be overseas. I don't know what the disconnect is there, but I mean, if they wanted to have legs, it's just like that thing I would say that they need to go back to the drawing board with the marketing and
Hmm.
try to get women and families in there to see this. Like the world is so much bigger than this film bro shit.
Yeah. No,
And I'm
I
excited to
agree.
talk about all these.
I agree.
I
And first
promise I
up,
don't hate men.
just not all of it. Not all of it. So, the new releases this week. First up is the Super Mario Galaxy movie coming from Universal. It's finally here after like 18 trailers. It is directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. It stars Chris Pratt, Annie Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Benny Safdie, Brie Larson, Donald Glover, Issa Rae, and Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell, last minute addition to the cast. I guess he's playing Star Fox. Is that the character?
Yes, the studio went ahead and just unveiled before the film that he was Star Fox. Lots to talk about here.
Hmm.
It's going to be quite a lengthy conversation. Where do you want to start? Box office, cast, film,
Um,
story?
Box office, I guess, because I mean the first movie made over a billion. I think it was like 1.2 it finished at.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
there is obviously a market there for Mario in general. I mean, Mario's been around since the 80s. Like there's a market there. This one
Yeah.
isn't tracking as well. I think it did make like 350 million worldwide this weekend, which is solid over like I think the budget was 110. It made its money back, and I think it will have legs. I don't think there's really anything else coming out for like younger audiences moving forward. Cast is still stacked. I mean, you have everyone coming back from the first movie, then you have the additions of Benny Safdie, Brie Larson, Donald Glover, and obviously Glenn Powell, then coming in Issa Rae. So there is still a huge stacked voice cast here. The story I have heard doesn't quote exist in this movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying. Yeah, the movie made 34 million on Wednesday. 34
Mm.
million is pretty good, you know. I think
Mhm.
right now where I'm at with movies, I just have a big smile on my face for the Super Mario fans. I think a lot of how you digest films and marketing strategies and just like an overall like experience at the cinema is like about who you follow. I've been
Mhm.
lucky to meet some really, really die-hard cinema fans. I mean, I talk about it all the time. They take pictures with the cutouts or they'll take pictures of
Mhm.
their physical media or just like talk about how they love Super Mario overall.
Hmm.
And it warmed my heart to like see how excited these people are for this movie. And yeah, I mean, on our film news show, I do talk about like the little fashion trends of like hating movies down to their last showings and it just not blending with the other side of like this experience that I see, which is just like us going to see a movie and like enjoy it. I do think it's
Hmm.
all about your algorithm that dictates whether or not you appreciate these movies or not. I'm not 100% saying that those people are wrong. I know that this film has some critiques and I know that it could be better in some places, but I'm just saying that like Illumination like has nailed down this type of film down to the science from the score to the design to the animation to the voice casting. I mean, we can talk about this voice casting for a minute. First of all, for the cinephiles, Anya Taylor-Joy and Benny
Hmm.
Safdie, what do you think? I mean, I think it's great that they're in here.
Yeah, I mean, because she was in the first one, and I think I love the Brie Larson edition of the casting the most because she's like a huge Nintendo fan. Like
Hmm
she's even been at like some of the Nintendo like showcases for like when they announce new games. I think it's just probably like a dream project for her, and just being able to do a voice in it is probably like amazing for her.
What did you think about her saying that the video game community is bigger than the cinema community? I think she might be onto something there.
I think she is correct. I think she is
There
correct.
there wouldn't be these types of films like attempting to hit the box office if they weren't trying to expand their audience.
Hmm.
And there is a simple like sort of nostalgia in a sense to some of it because it's not just for kids, obviously, it's for like grown adults as well. I think Brie Larson gets a lot of flack for no reason just because she's a woman saying that
Yeah.
yeah, I know my shit. And I mean, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm also a woman at the same time. Sorry. I've loved seeing her eat down every single journalist that comes at her with a question this round. I'm becoming more of like a Brie Larson fan, I guess.
No, I agree. Like she is honestly I think the gaming community is a lot bigger than the film community. Video games are a huge industry, a huge, huge
Yeah.
industry. There's so many systems you can play on now, like even mobile games. Like it's insane.
I'm not directly quoting her, but I think what she was alluding to was that everybody is a video game player. So, like, for
Hmm.
example, like those little word games that you play on your
Yeah.
phone or
Hmm.
even like at your desk at work, like everybody's playing some sort of video game.
Hmm.
And we're talking about a movie that is about video games like this weekend. Like, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Nintendo heads are gonna make this $1 billion film easy. And the way that they do that is just going to see it over and over again. Now, all of that being said, for anybody that's like a new listener for our podcast, we are not film defenders. We are not here to defend a film and convince you to go see it. There is good things about movies, and then there's also like critiques. And I feel like mine and Pat's critique here, I'm just like kind of speaking for the both of us at this moment in it, is that there isn't really a story here. And if there was a story, this would easily be $1 billion film instead of it like being like this conversation of hope it maybe gets there.
Hmm.
What do you
Hmm.
think?
No, I agree. I think sometimes when they make these movies, they're like, oh, well, it's Mario, Super Mario Galaxy. It's for kids. Like the kids don't care about, they just like to see Mario run around. And I get that. But when you have parents taking their kids to this movie, like I'm sure some of the parents are like, this is so boring. Like, what is going on here? Like, nothing is happening. Nothing's happening. And I get that my kids loving it, but like in their minds too, it's like, who is this for? You're just gonna put this on in the background? Like, it's just a background movie now? Like, it's just background
hmm
with random scenes thrown together? I don't know, but I mean, I really liked the game a lot. Super Mario Galaxy was on the Wii, and it was really fun to play.
Yeah, we've talked about this film a lot coming
Mm,
up to it. Would you, I kind of want to be like the devil's advocate in the way and kind of like not press on you for questions, but like where we're at like as a nation in general is like, do you think that Hollywood is pulling out storylines to remain in the middle and not feed conservative crowds or liberal crowds, but stay right in the middle? That way their movie succeeds. What do you think about
hmm.
that?
I think that does happen. I think that doesn't happen just within the film industry. I think some musical artists also do that. They kind
Mm,
of toe the line of the middle. They play the middle road. They don't
hmm
say that's when actors and musicians will they say, like, I don't want to talk about politics because again, they don't want to alienate a certain amount of audience because in their mind, especially from a studio standpoint, that's money being lost. So they don't want to alienate anybody. They want to play as middle of the road as they can, very basic, a story maybe that doesn't even make any sense, but hey, it made 300 something million dollars this weekend, so we did our job.
That being said, do we just discover why this film doesn't have a plot?
We possibly did. We
Yeah.
probably did. It's
I
like
mean,
some of these
whenever
studios are scared. Sometimes the studios are scared to just do anything now.
Definitely. I think more now than ever. I mean, this is
Hmm.
Universal Film. Illumination is animating here. Whenever it comes to films like these, I mean, even with Minions 3, I'd be really interested to see if there's a storyline in there, you know? So
Hmm.
I'm excited to talk about that. But whenever it comes to films like these, it's for me, and I know for you as well, but it's like no expectations, just observation.
I mean, it visually looks, the animation looks fantastic, but if there's no story, then how long can your animation sustain the plot for 90 minutes? So
I
I don't
mean,
know, but I mean, it made its money though.
Meanwhile, both you and I know that like Looney Tunes and a bunch of these cartoons that play on Turner Classic Movies now, they have like the hard hitting issues about like poverty and capitalism, and like
Hmm.
they weren't afraid to go there. And those are like very, very famous characters now. Like, and they
Hmm.
still like have little jokes at that. I'll be very interested to see how edited down or the same Coyote versus Acme comes
Yeah.
out in August. That comes out
Hmm.
during my birthday month. I'm really excited to check that one out. The specific animation like corner of Hollywood is not afraid to like use their characters to like make a statement.
To piggyback off those Looney Tunes shorts, like they're telling a story in 10 minutes that sometimes takes an
All right,
2 hour
don't be a
film
jerk.
to tell a
Don't be
story.
don't be a jerk. No,
I guess,
I
yeah.
know what you're saying. I know what you're
Hmm.
saying. As we get older, we are complaining a little bit more. But to be a movie goer right now and to be like a popcorn bucket collector and a physical media collector, that shit's expensive. Like it's a
Hmm.
hobby. They call it a hobby for a reason. You know, if I'm gonna collect a Yoshi egg popcorn bucket and get the 4K of Super Mario Galaxy movie, I hope it's a good fucking movie. It's like that thing I said with Project Hail Mary a couple weeks ago that you have to make it worth it. And if it's not, like,
Hmm.
you got to get ready for that one guy that's like, hey, I'm paying my money to see this. This better be good.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah. Seriously. Right to Mr. Hollywood. How dare you?
No,
Signed.
literally. I mean, those people are out there right now, and they're not
Hmm.
necessarily on the left or the right. It's just who you're asking to go to
They
the
just don't, yeah.
movies.
They want to go to a movie and the movie's not good. They spent, I don't know, $50 on it. They're like, what the hell was that? So,
Don't forget to include parking.
yeah, yeah, parking. I was telling Tony I saw a movie the other day and parking was a little expensive to see it. Yeah, that Super Mario Galaxy movie. We haven't seen it yet, but I think we kind of want to check it out though. I think we kind of want to see what it's all about.
That being said, yeah, I want to chomp down on this film. I want to see where animation's at right now from a big studio. I feel like we
Hmm.
watch a lot of indie animation and stuff like that, and be interesting to see how the big studios are handling animated films right now.
So that brings us to our other big release this week, and that is The Drama, coming from A24. It is directed by Christopher Borgli and stars Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Alana Haim, Haley Gates, Mahmoudou Athie, and Zoe Winters. Now, we both have seen The Drama at the time of this recording. We might break it down a little bit. Spoiler
Yeah,
free, spoiler free though, spoiler free.
spoiler free. I was spoiler free at first. This is interesting. In real time, we're deciding whether or not going forward, this is going to be a format that we decide to review
Hmm.
films, like and do episodic reviews for films for you guys. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm down. I really don't. I mean, we had a couple days to check this out, and I mean, we can always include like spoiler review in our posts and even in
Hmm.
our episode drops. I mean, it's up to you. I'm very willing to go deep into films like this with you for our listeners, especially if they're coming, the weekend after we're talking about these
Hmm.
films.
We both have seen this film so far. Tony, what are your thoughts on The Drama? There's a lot of drama in The Drama.
There's a lot of drama in the drama. I asked 2026 for more Alana Haim, and I got my wish. So,
Hmm. Yeah, she was
um,
in a good amount of it. She was great in it. She was great in it.
I feel like this was like the hot ticket this weekend. Hearing about a lot of people's excitement for it. Prior to watching this film, I have to give credit where credit is due, and that's A24's marketing team, rolling out fake engagement announcements, turning movie posters into wedding invitations, getting audience hooked onto the drama, not only between the main characters, but also like the entire cast is like performing here. Solid stuff. I will say, I'm going to be really messy right now and say that I have not seen a lot of influencers or streamers or critics do video reviews of this film, and I'm really
Interesting.
intrigued to know why. I personally don't think that this film needs a trigger warning because I know for a fact that if I pulled any 30-year-old's phone out of their hand, that the stuff that is in this film would be in that person's algorithm. I feel
Hmm.
very confident saying that. And just because it's Zendaya and Robert Pattinson in an A24 film, for some reason it's like all taboo. And I don't like that
Hmm.
word. This isn't taboo. This is real life. People are going through these things. And I'm just kind of over this like
Dance around
fa
it, I guess.
fashionable activism. Like, oh, I'm an
Hmm.
activist. I'm an activist. But when I go see a movie that has it, I'm like, oh no, that's too much. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people get to choose whether or not they're in these events or not.
Yeah, that's true. They don't. And the performative activism, that was one of the, I guess, critiques of Eddington last year was the activism part of it. That's what people were complaining about. They're like, oh, well, you can't do that. And it's like, I mean, he's right in a sense that people are performative when it comes to stuff and they don't want to be confronted with the reality of what life is about. And I don't think we're going to spoil what the drama aspect of it is, but what happens in the film is very relevant to today's society. And like I was telling you, there's going to be people that are like, fuck this movie, fuck it. And I get that. Like, I get it. But you have to have movies like this in order to start a conversation on the
Hmm.
issue at hand. And if you don't, and you kind of just say, you can't make a movie about this, then what's the point of making movies? Like, I don't want to dog on it, but then, okay, well, then just go watch Super Mario Galaxy movie then. You don't need to watch this. If you don't want to be confronted with issues that happen in society, if you're a cinephile, a acclaimed cinephile, then why are you watching movies? Because movies are art that tackles tough issues sometimes.
I would say that it was kind of like the same thing as Super Mario. I went in no expectation, just
Hmm.
observation, and I was like, I know what I'm getting in for. And I mean, I walked out of the theater very, very pleased with
Hmm.
my ticket purchase and what I chose to spend my movie experience on this weekend. I this gives me hope that A24 is back on the right track because there were a lot of stinkers. I'm sorry, there were a lot of stinkers in
Yeah,
2025
they've been
and a
struggling
little bit
lately.
of
Hmm.
2024. Yeah, there were, and especially like I think as an ensemble, like the marketing, the film, and the talent, like it was all just kind of like we have to sacrifice story in order to get actors, and if we want
Hmm.
the film to do well, we have to get the right amount of actors for it to prolong into marketing. If we're not able to explain what the film is about because it'll spoil the film. We have to pull crazy stunts in order
Hmm.
to market the film. For me, this fucking rips. This is the
Hmm.
exact kind of movie experience that I like. There's so much whenever it comes to the drama to talk about, and that's why I was telling Pat was like, spoiler free or non-spoiler free. I guess the best way I can go about it is talking about what my initial notes were before the film. First things first, director Christopher Borgli has his own drama going on outside of this film, and I told Pat about it, and we both have our thoughts. But maybe there's like a method to the madness in what he's trying to say with his film, which is for me, what he's trying to say is that like Americans are addicted to controversy and mania,
Hmm.
and when it comes to how we interact with each other in our personal lives, like what do I mean by when I say that? I mean like think about what Americans watch the most of
Hmm.
reality TV. Real Housewives, Below Deck, Love is Blind, Love Island, The Traitors, like the list goes on and on. And it's like, it's stellar entertainment. I'm not knocking anybody who's into that,
Hmm.
but it's also like really crazy commentary on like how we are all just addicted to drama and
Yeah.
taboo shit, even though it's not taboo, even though it's a
Hmm.
real thing that people deal with in everyday life.
Hmm.
You?
No, I agree. I agree. It's like people's obsession with like serial killers and stuff and true crime. But then when they're confronted with that in a movie, it's too far. But they can listen to it on a podcast. The movies are fake, by the way. The podcast is real. Those are real crimes that happened. But the movie's fake.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll say that's too much. I think the word is like, and they even say it in the drama, it's fascination. Like I'm just fascinated by like why someone would do this. And I
Yes.
think, I mean, it is like it's a fascinating, like I love history and like I'm fascinated by it. Like you're fascinated by why people do things. And I think that's like the ultimate thing of what the film is trying to say is like why someone would do that. They do it in a comedic way. I think how it's portrayed, I really liked and we both really liked. But I know there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be people that don't like how it's like kind of like a comedic relief sometimes
Mm-hmm.
what they're talking about. And I understand that side as well because it is a
Yeah.
serious issue.
Yeah, I could see that.
But at the same time, it's like people are fascinated by things that happen in the world, but when they're actually confronted with that stuff, they don't want to see it. They just want to hear it, but they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
see it in front of them. I think that's what this film is trying to say.
I told Pat about my viewing experience. I was kind of in like a half full theater where I live, and I could definitely tell there were some people that were there for Robert Pattinson. Could definitely tell some
Hmm.
people were like there to see like an A24 or like Zendaya film. I think that I could feel the stiffness in the room and a lot of the dark comedy, a lot of the second half of it.
Yeah. Hmm.
I was dying laughing. There was some stuff that like really worked on me, and I was like, oh, the comedic timing of this is
Hmm.
just so good. It was so painfully uncomfortable that I had no other choice but to laugh at it. And maybe that's why there isn't a lot of, critics or influencers, wanting to tackle this because they're so scared of getting canceled for saying the wrong thing. And it's like, look, guys, this is all in like our bloodstream. If you live in America, you have been affected by either that big event back in
Hmm.
2001 or what fell after, which is like the domestic stuff. I'm trying my hardest not to spoil the film. We are all touched by some sort of event or thing
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
happened here in the US. And it's
Hmm.
not taboo, and it is okay to talk about these things. That's how we process. This is almost like a way for art to process like how we do think about things, how we think about each other, like down the street. There's so much to unpack, and it's crazy.
It's telling a lot. And I think we both agreed. I don't know if the film fully gets to where it's trying to be.
Correct.
Because, yeah, obviously you have a wedding in the middle of this, and like you kind of have to resolve the wedding plot of the movie. So
Hmm.
and that's why I think it never really fully gets to what it's trying to say. It's there to start a conversation. And I think that's what films need to do is they're just there to start a conversation about, hey, something that happens in society, especially in the US, almost every single day now is an issue and you can't avoid it. It's a part of the culture that you live in now. Here's a film about it.
I also think that the film had great writing, great character writing, that there is a specific character that this movie is about. It's one of the many people in the US that is not being paid attention to right now. And it's
Hmm.
like heartbreaking to see how like humans treating other humans can like cause it's like that fascination thing, how that person gets there. It's a lot of things. It's like
Hmm.
adolescence on crack, honestly. It's so good. The more that I think about it, I'm like, dang, the drama, wait, maybe you might be the top contender of 2026 so far. I mean, I want to see all the other A24 films that come out this year, and we're gonna talk about some of them.
But yeah, I think we both really liked the drama a lot. And like you mentioned earlier, I think moving forward, we might have some breakdowns of new releases and episodes, but that will be spoiler filled. So,
Yeah, I'll happily break down the drama for
mm,
people. I mean, that's like one of the best parts of, being a 30-year-old guy, just not like being on TikTok or, these
mm,
social platforms. We'll do a breakdown soon. We'll do a breakdown.
we'll do a breakdown. We'll do a breakdown.
Happily. Happily.
But just to recap, the new releases this week are the Super Mario Galaxy movie and the drama. If you're excited for both of those, if you've seen both of those, please let us know. Be on the lookout. We'll be breaking down the drama in a future episode. A full spoiler for or spoiler filled, not free, spoiler filled breakdown of the drama. So that brings us to the VOD releases this week, and there were a lot of VOD releases this week, a lot.
Yeah.
So bear with me, listeners, while I read all of these out. First up, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, coming from Sony Pictures, is now on Netflix. Avatar Fire and Ash from 20th Century Studios is now on VOD. Dolly from IFC and Shudder is now on VOD. Pillion from A24 is also on VOD. Scream 7 from Paramount is now on VOD. The Testament of Anne Lee from Searchlight Pictures is now on Hulu. Wuthering Heights from Warner Brothers is now on VOD. Crime 101 from Amazon and MGM is now on Prime Video. The Housemaid from Lionsgate is now on Stars. And Five Nights at Freddy's 2, coming from Universal, is now on Peacock. A huge, huge VOD streaming release week this past week. Usually it's very light, but they were like, hey, here's the entire first half of the year, first quarter of the year.
I'm excited to see how this switches up the Nielsen charts. I'd be very interested to see if anything kicks K-pop Demon Hunters off of the Nielsen charts right now. I don't think it is, but it'll be interesting to see what enters and what falls off. A serious and unserious pick.
Unserious, S7.
Like it's a cuss word.
Uh,
Oh,
serious.
you're
Serious.
hilarious.
Serious. I would say the Testament of Anne Lee. I wanted to see that, but I also want to praise 28 years later, The Bone Temple. It didn't do very well in theaters, and now that it's very iffy, they're going to make the third movie. But I'm curious to see if it charts very well on Netflix. If it does, then there's an audience there, and maybe some people, again, people just wait until things are dropped on their streaming service that they pay for, and that's when they watch them. So I'm curious to see if that tracks well on there. What about you?
I got you. I got you. You're still cracking me up with your unserious pick. For
So
me, unserious pick would be definitely Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's on Peacock. I don't have to
yeah.
buy it. I personally enjoy McKenna Grace whenever I see her, all for all of 5 minutes that she's in a film, because that's all they can afford. But I do enjoy her, and I would love to see her for all of 5 minutes in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I saw the first one. I didn't mind it. Kind of gives me the same vibe as like the Chucky series or
Yeah.
just like
Hmm.
just something campy and fun. You know, I like those campy horror films. And now for a serious one, serious pick is that Pillion. Same thing, same exact thing that happened with Twinless. Hearing about it in March. It released wide in September of last year, and then I finally saw it in November, December, early December. Same thing happened with this one. Didn't premiere anywhere around me. Whenever it was in select, whenever it released wide, nothing around me. Closest thing was fucking Albuquerque or Austin. And then finally, what is it? The day that we're recording this, it's April. Gonna rent it at home
Hmm.
and check it out at home. I mean, I'll call out where I live. Like Texas fucking sucks. Like
Hmm.
just to like not premiere an LGBT film like this. I mean, it's just so this country is still so afraid of like art and gay people.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's just so annoying, man. It's
Hmm.
I mean, I told you from the very beginning. I was like, I knew the exact route it was gonna go for me to get this
Hmm.
film. The only thing that sucks about it, I have all these stills and frames from like me expecting to like watch this film because it was an A24 film and it would release near me. I just have all those frames on a file somewhere that
Hmm.
I'll review afterwards. So I will review this film fucking 3 months later.
I know it just sucks that the world still has markets where they just don't show things just because of
I'd be interested to
politics.
see that map. I'd be very interested to see that map of like, oh, like don't put it in that theater. It's not gonna do well. I want to
Hmm.
see that map. I'd
Hmm.
be really interested to see.
So yeah, if you're excited for any of those VOD releases, there's a lot of them. So if you want to watch all of them, I'll see you in 3 weeks. So
No, literally.
so that brings us to the trailers of the week, and there were quite a few trailers this week. Pretty stacked week. First up, I Love Boosters, coming from Neon, directed by Boots Riley, starring Kiki Palmer, Alexa Demi, Naomi Aki, Taylor Page, Demi Moore, Lakeith Stanfield, and Will Poulter. Great cast, stacked cast. Looks fucking great. It's like I was getting like a Spring Breakers vibe mixed with the bling ring is kind of what I was getting from the trailer. Honestly, this film looks better than both of those.
I'm very impressed that you know what the bling ring is. I'm really impressed
Oh
that
yeah, I got
you
that on Blu-ray. I got a Blu-ray back here.
really.
I think it's
That's
right
like
there.
what that's one of my favorite like fuck the system like kind of things.
Hmm.
Yeah, same it kind of like same vein as the Bling Ring, like fuck
Hmm.
capitalism. I was listening to one of the critics that I follow. His name is Points of Review. He was talking about the use of how Boots Riley writes a screenplay. He wrote the screenplay for this, correct?
It is,
Okay,
yeah.
so the way that he writes is that he explains a scene and then he like tells the studio how exactly he's going to do the scene in the screenplay. That way they don't
Mm.
just like close it and be like next.
Yeah.
He'll explain the like financial and like
Mm.
logistical. He was like, "Don't worry guys, like I have a plan." And
Mm.
I think there's like a lot of like miniatures in this, which I'm really excited for.
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see. It might be
Yeah.
like some practical stuff that I'm like excited
Mm.
for. A lot of people were saying at the South by because I think it premiered at I think it's South by
I
or it
think it
was
did.
another
I think it was at
festival.
South by. I think it was at South by.
That they preferred this one a lot more than what is it? Sorry to bother you.
Sorry to Bother You is great too. One of Army Hammer's last films, I guess. Sorry to Bother
Who? I'm just kidding.
You.
Uh,
I love the color look of it. I think the only problem I still have now is just lens choices that people make now, where the character is in full focus, but the entire background is completely out of focus now. And
like
it's
every
just
Netflix film.
like every Netflix film. And I think there's parts in the trailer where this does that. And then when you watch movies that are from like a different time period that are older, where you can see everything in the frame. And I just feel
Hmm.
like I think that's just becoming a pet peeve of mine. And it's nothing that's like obviously this movie I'm sure is
No,
great,
it's.
but it's just like it's just a visual thing where I'm like, why does
Mhm.
everyone choose to shoot their movies like this now? Like I just don't
Hmm.
get it.
I would say that I'm sure in the budget, whenever they're considering things like, hey, I know that in your shot deck you want a mural for this shot. That's going
Hmm.
to cost another 50 grand. We could either do that or we could just blur the background. Up to
Okay.
you.
It's
And
it's a way to hide stuff in the background too. So.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. I mean, going back to the Boots Riley second feature, correct? There's this whole podcast over second features, and I thought that was like an interesting concept.
Mm, hmm.
So I know the value of like the second feature having to either has to count or needs to matter. And I feel
Hmm.
like this one specifically, like right now, like it matters. There is this kind of, I mean, I would assume that this kind of energy would be really dangerous in like Los Angeles or like at the Grove or
Hmm.
something like that. You see these designer brands like being exclusive, just like the Hollywood industry. It's all metaphorical, it's all symbolic. But they'll be very exclusive and like it's like you said, I mean we walked around the Grove a little bit when I visit, that there are people at the door and like if you looked a specific way, they wouldn't let you in. I feel like this movie is
Hmm.
for that kind of energy and I really like that. You know, I'm
Yeah, it's like
always
the
a fuck capitalism
yeah,
kind of movie.
it's like you'd watch the trailer like and it's pretty on the nose about capitalism, but I mean, it's how capitalism is. They treat you that way. They want you to work for them, but they don't want you to be in that level. Yeah, it's like a bling ring on 2.0. It's bling ring 2.0.
I
Go fuck
like the
yourself.
bling ring reference. It's making me see you in a different way.
I got told you, I got the Blu-ray over there somewhere. It's in
Okay,
this.
I believe you. You don't have to like convince me. He's jumping on a shelf and like pulling it out right now. I'm excited for them. I think that they got a good solid film. I don't think there will be any blowback here. I mean, if there
Yeah.
is, it's just going to be from those hate channels and
Yeah. Mm.
they're going to hate. That's what they do. I mean, this looks solid.
Yeah, it's great to see Neon keep going because I think if this movie came out 5 years ago, it'd be a A24 release. Neon's killing
Damn, son, the tea is hot with you today. Dang, you just throwing shots left and right.
it. Neon's killing it. Neon's killing it. So that brings us to the next trailer of the week, and that is Masters of the Universe, coming from Amazon and MGM Studios and Sony Pictures. Big collaboration there. Big collaboration.
Interesting.
It is directed by Travis Knight. It stars Nicholas Gallatin, Skeletor, Camilla Mendes, Allison Brie, Idris Elba, Morena Baccarin, Kristen Wiig, and Johannes Hakor Johansson. I think I asked you this question, but like, who is this for? Because this show, it's based off of He-Man, which I think was a comic originally, and then they made into an animated series in the 80s. So you're asking people who are probably in their 50s now that grew up on this show, or 40s
Mm-hmm.
that grew up on this
Mm-hmm.
show, to go watch a live action version of it in 2026. And probably half of them are like, oh, yeah, I forgot about He-Man.
So I really want somebody on the marketing team to listen to this chapter in the podcast and just think about the following thing. You want a 23-year-old influencer to go on their TikTok and be like, all right, guys, it's time to get excited for the Masters of the Universe film. I've waited for this film since I was like 4 years old. So if a
Mhm.
23-year-old was 4 years old, what year would it have been?
Was he'd be like 2006 maybe?
Yeah, because He-Man was totally the shit in 2006.
2007. Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
let
I
me
don't
take you a couple episodes back. What did I say about marketing with Project Hail Mary? How it needed to expand to what exact person? What exact person was it?
it's like an average Joe person. Like you
The
need to
single dad
yeah, the single dad, the average
who
Joe.
was probably, I have the biggest smile on my
This is
face
like
right now. I don't give
politics.
a
This
shit.
is politics. Like you got to appeal to the average Joe.
You are not going to with this though,
I know.
because Amazon MGM and Sony Pictures are going to invite 350 influencers to the screening for this. Tell them, tell all your friends, tell all of your followers to go watch Masters of the Universe. What the fuck is Masters of the Universe? They
Yeah.
really need to lock down this marketing before this film comes out, or it is going to tank.
I think it's gonna take.
That's my answer to the question of who is this for. I'm sorry if it was so intense.
No, I mean it's right though, because like in the trailer, it's like witness how he became He-Man, and I'm like, do people even know who He-Man is? Like I don't. Like I'm like looking around like in the theater, like I think I was telling you when the trailer played like yesterday. The guy behind me was just like, oh boy, just like that's all he just said was just like, oh boy. Like I'm sure he grew up on He-Man. He seemed like an older guy and was just like, who is this for? Like you're right. You're trying to appeal to a 24-year-old single guy that's like, oh hell yeah, Masters of the Universe, He-Man. I just don't understand. And like it just looks so like, and I could be completely wrong because this is kind of how I felt with Dungeons and Dragons when it came out. And then
Mm-hmm.
completely different. The vibe, the trailer was not what the movie was. Completely
Mm-hmm.
different comedic vibe. And that'd be awesome if that's what this is. Like it's kind of like a sleeper, like, wait, this movie's actually hilarious. This movie's great. I hope that's what it is. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want movies we don't want movies to fail on this on these pod. We
No,
want everything to be
never.
good.
No, I'm trying to act as a conduit of like, I'm like a
Hmm.
mini focus group. The commentary podcast film news is sometimes a mini focus group. And that's what I'm saying. I want this film to soar. I want this movie to find its right audience. I just think that the way it's going right now, it's relying too heavily on that, like, invite these
Hmm.
influencers, it'll trickle down from there, and that's how we sell tickets. You can't do that with a Masters of the Universe film. These guys have not played pinball
No.
for like their entire childhood or like
Yeah.
sat in front of a TV watching He-Man.
It's just like a movie where you're like, this movie is about 20 years too late. I don't know who's this is for. I just don't know who this is
I
for.
could see this
Like,
doing very well in the era of Michael Bay's Transformers. Definitely,
And there's a
definitely.
Transformers connection. Travis Knight directed Bumblebee. So there's a Transformers connection.
I don't make these connections. You just tell me about them afterwards. That's crazy. No, but I mean, that's such a good point. We want to know who this film is for.
I mean, like, you watch the trailer, you're like, I mean, it looks like okay. Like, I would watch it and I'd be like, whatever. Like, that was fine. Very CGI heavy, but hey, good for Riverdale cast. Give me Mendes in a studio film.
I have to redeem myself. Nicholas Galatzine, I remember where I saw him. He was in Bottoms, and he was like one of the best parts of
Oh
it.
yeah,
So,
it was he was the one that
yeah,
was in the
he
football
was a
outfit the whole time,
quarterback.
right?
Yeah, yeah. He was the one being a little baby boy,
Mm.
and I loved it. I loved his performance so much. So there you go. There's enters your argument of like maybe it is like a sleeper comedy.
Maybe. Mm.
And maybe that's how they sell tickets. It's probably time to start exposing that side of it instead of making
Mm.
it this like Transformers action epic. If it's a comedy, I would be highlighting the fuck out of that.
And maybe stop casting someone in this movie constantly. I don't understand it. Don't get it.
I
We
don't know
won't.
how he keeps getting work.
I don't. It's. uh, I guess it's kind of just like we're just confused of who this is for. Hope it does well. Hope it's kind of
Yeah.
actually solid, but it comes out very soon, so we'll see. It could be
Yeah.
a
I mean, also Amazon, if you want to invite us to, go
yeah,
screen this and change our tune, that'd be great too.
yeah, maybe we'll change it.
Maybe we'll change our tune.
Best film of the year. What are you talking about? Best film of the year.
Best one since Ben-Hur.
This is gonna be on the pinnacle Mount Rushmore, you have Ben-Hur and Masters of the Universe. So that brings us to our next trailer this week, and that is Backrooms, coming from A24. It is directed by Kane Parsons, starring Finn Bennett, Avan Jogia, Lukita Maxwell, Renata Reinsef, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Mark Duplass. This looks great. I don't know the
I for,
Backrooms lore. I don't know if I want to know the Backrooms lore. I kind of just want to watch it.
Honestly, that might be a good way to enter into the back rooms. This is like a trailer reaction. I feel like our reactions to weekly recap trailers is like a genuine reaction. So we are talking specifically about the trailer. We have them on a playlist. You can go check them out. We have the link in the episode at all times. This is exactly how you build up momentum for a film. I mean, we already pat Kim Parsons on the back for being the youngest filmmaker over A24. We already did a deep dive of the lore behind Backrooms. You kind of know a little bit of it, and I kind of think I
Mm-hmm.
got you hooked with what I told you. Now we can
Mm-hmm.
just kind of talk about what these first looks are at the film are doing for us. For me, those first shots reminded me a lot of Jordan Peele's Nope. And that
Mm-hmm.
made me really excited to see more of it. I feel like that alone is a compliment in itself. I like that it feels cozy, the set design, everything in the back room looks disturbing, looks like a mix of found footage and traditional shooting. I mean, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have, sad girl of the year, Renata Reinsve, in your film. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm in.
See, I like the blend of the found footage and like it and the actual and then the one girl, I think it's Lukita Maxwell. She's in Shrinking. She's pretty solid in Shrinking. She plays Jason
Oh,
Segel's
okay.
daughter in Shrinking.
Nice.
So I saw her in the trailer. I was like, oh, good for you. That's basically what I said. I was like, oh. But I like what you said about the set design. It's like it's basic, but it feels comforting, but it works because it looks weird and looks creepy, but it's very basic set design. Like I'm sure if you're
Mm-hmm.
on the set, you're kind of like, oh, it's just like a yellow room. This is weird. But
Mm-hmm.
that works. Like it's kind of creepy. We've already talked about like the lore and everything. It's kind of just like I don't need any more. I don't need another trailer.
Yeah,
Like
you
I'm
don't have
good.
to
I don't need
convince me
another
any
trailer.
more than
Yeah.
you already have. I like that we're continuing talking about the set design. I want to bring up It Follows. That's another one that it reminded me of. If you're paying attention to your phone instead of the film, it is really hard to pinpoint an era of time that film is in. If you really, really think about it, there's other films like that too that are slipping my head right now. They feel nostalgic, but they're also modern at the same time. The only thing that's modern are people's phones. Their costumes, the sets, whenever that is hard to pinpoint in a film, I feel like it kind of shines a little bit more. And I
Hmm.
don't know exactly what type of filmmaking that is called, but I like that this young filmmaker is doing that instead of this like really modernized like take on. This is something that he's built. These are shorts that he's made and he's
Hmm.
expanding into a feature. Our film news was so slow this week that there was a literal report of the runtime of this film.
Yeah. I was like, I like said it. It was like, said it to you. I was like, slow news week. Like, we're talking about red times now. But I mean, we don't need any more. We're
I'm
good.
good. Yeah,
We're
like
good.
not in a bad way or anything. Like you got my ticket. Let's go.
Hmm. Yeah. I want to see weird shit. So this is some weird shit. We're gonna be there watching the back rooms.
If okay, I'm gonna start sending you creepy pasta videos and you're gonna regret what you just said. I'm gonna ask our friend Bree to send you some really bad creepy pasta shit.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the creepy pasta shit. So that brings us to another trailer this week. Big trailer. Supergirl, coming from DC Studios. It is directed by Craig Gillespie. It stars Millie Alcock, Matthias Schoenaerts, Eve Ridley, David Krumholtz, Emily Beecham, and Jason Momoa. Why do I get the feeling that DC is going the route of every movie is going to feel like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Your co-host has the same exact thing written down verbatim. Yeah, there's a lot to break down here. It is big chunky film.
Hmm.
Supergirl DC. This film already just feels like it has James Gunn written all over it, and he's not even the
Hmm.
director. James Gunn is just making Guardians of the Galaxy films over in the DCU, and I don't think his new daddy, David Ellison, is gonna be really particularly happy that these films are not making more than like 7 to 900 million dollars
Hmm.
domestically. There was an era where these films were billion-dollar films. DC only has $4 billion films. $4 billion films, if that makes sense.
Or separate films that make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Marvel is kicking their ass. I mean, that's
Hmm.
just like the truth. And any Snyderverse or DC guy that wants to come at me for saying that, go do your fucking homework because I know what I'm talking about. We all know that DCU thrives whenever it's dark. It feels high end and submerges the viewer into that world. Now, just off of those three things that I just said, go look at that Supergirl trailer again and tell me if you feel that.
They're bringing in James Gunn to revamp DC and make it this new thing, but it's kind of just like you said, like he's not even the director on this, and it just feels like a James Gunn film. Is every project just going to feel like this? Is this just the James Gunn universe of DC? Like this is what everything looks like. Here's your awesome soundtrack playlist. Like cool, yeah, these are great songs, but are we going to do this for every single movie? The hits of the 1970s. I don't know how well this is going to do. I don't know if people wanted Supergirl right away, right after Superman.
Have you ever seen any slides of the comic that they're depicting in this film?
I don't
They're
think so.
very they're very colorful. If anything, I
Hmm.
mean, just think about like all of the cinematography and beauty of Project Hail Mary. That's like what this comic of Supergirl is supposed to feel like. So
Hmm.
obviously where I'm going with that is like obviously DC does not have the money to depict these otherworldly like cinematic shots of Millie
Hmm.
Alcock in space and like these whimsical, beautiful sets and everything like that. I don't think that this is a solution either. Personally, I just feel like Millie Alcock in this film deserved better. I feel like she really is giving it her all. And with this specific corner of the film industry, it's always the lead talent that gets the most heat. And
Yeah.
I feel like Millie Alcock's gonna get thrown into that. I know
Hmm.
Gillespie did Cruella, but I feel like they should have gone with an animation director to give this film some serious legs. You're depicting a comic book into a film, you should probably get an animated director.
Do it.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna go ahead and say the same thing about Doomsday too. Better
Hmm.
director, and sorry, that's just how it should be.
I think this is going to be the real test this year of are the superhero movies still here for all
Yeah.
the movies being released, even Spider-Man. I think this is the real
Yep.
test of
Yep.
do these movies have an audience anymore? And yeah, they'll make
Mm-hmm.
600, 700, 800, but they're not hitting that billion anymore. That means you're losing audience members. People are they're getting bored with it. And if you're using the same tone for every single movie, they blend together. Doesn't matter. So that brings us to the final trailer this week, and that is Mother Mary, coming from A24. It is directed by David Lowery, music by Charlie XCX, Jack Antonoff, and Daniel Hart, a frequent Lowery collaborator. It stars Anne Hathaway, Michaela Cole, Hunter Schafer, Kaya Gerber, FKA Twigs, and Alba Baptista. Tony, what do you think of the singing of Anne Hathaway in the trailer on the stage? Is she going
Oh,
for a Charlie XCX vibe?
you know me. I love a good immersive marketing campaign. I mean,
Hmm.
another solid pat on the back for A24. Marketing strategy snaps all around for your team. Releasing a single every time a trailer drops is very, very spot on. Providing teasers that serve as visuals for the music to slowly sink audiences into this Anne Hathaway pop star world. Slam dunk A24. What do you think?
Hmm. No, I agree too. It's like sometimes when it's like you have like the Backrooms trailer or teasers where it's like those teasers are way more effective than just a straight 2.5 minute trailer of here's the entire plot. As soon as we get to the end, I know there's going to be title cards that come up that say like blah, like, and you have the same a remixed song of like an 80s classic, but now it's sung by someone from today. And yeah, I like when trailers or teasers are kind of just like it looks like a scene that you're watching, just like one scene. It's just like
Yes,
a
and it's not even in
weird
the
vibe.
movie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like this is just for like you're watching like a music video kind of. This is what this movie's kind of going for.
I'm a teaser guy. I'm not a trailers guy. I always say that. I love the tease. I'm not a trailers guy. Mother Mary is on the back end of like the Eras tour, Sabrina Carpenter,
Hmm.
Brat, A24 has a solid audience ready to buy a ticket to this film. The music that comes from this film will probably chart to the Q3 part of the year, and it's going to be great for vinyl and Blu-ray sales. The only thing that I wanted to tell you was that it's giving me Smile 2 vibes, and it's going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, I love David Lowery. I think I've told you that I love David Lowery. I think he's one of the most underrated directors working. He's kind of dabbled in a lot of genres, and he does a lot of. I mean, he's made a Disney film. He made Pete's Dragon for Disney live action.
Oh,
He made Pete's Dragon.
really?
So, and I
Okay.
actually like that movie, but he's very talented, and I think he kind of is underlooked a lot because there's just a lot of other top directors that make these kind of lower budget tier movies that thrive more than his do. But I mean, he's made
Hmm.
the Green Knight, and it's like the year of Anne Hathaway, and I guess the year of Charlie XCX. So we'll see the collaboration that happens
Don't
there. And
forget
I just
Zendaya.
Zendaya, yeah, the year of Zendaya. It's a very A24 film, I feel like. So it's going for that vibe. And Lowry's worked with them a few times, so I'm excited to see what comes from this. Mother Mary coming out very soon too. Coming out very soon.
What do you think about that Smile 2 connection? Do you also get that vibe as well?
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of because I mean the Smiles movies are very effective and they work very well and they make a lot of money. So sometimes these
Were
studios
you a
are
fan
like,
of the second one?
I did like the second one. I think I like the second one more than the first one actually.
That seems to be the general consensus.
I think it's just more of like a better vibe plot wise, I think, than the second one, which it tackles, I guess, kind of, yeah, like it's like a what happens when you're a huge star like that, that the smile is going to happen to you now. You're a huge star.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I want to see more of the story and everything. I want to know exactly
hmm
what she's running away from, if she like sold her soul to the devil or something like that.
And sometimes I like when the teasers don't give you the whole plot. It's kind of just like, here's what this is. It looks weird, but come and check it
Hmm.
out and you'll see what it's really about. So just to recap, the trailers this week were I Love Boosters, Masters of the Universe, Backrooms, Supergirl, and Mother Mary. If you're excited for all of them, some of them, none of them, please let us know. And we will agree or disagree. I don't know. We'll see. So that brings us to the news of the week. And first up, Scream 8 is in the works. It is coming from Lila and Nora Zuckerman, who are both writers on Poker Face, or were, because Poker Face is no longer around. They're writing the script. And not surprising that they're going to keep going. But yeah, Scream 8 is in the works. Thoughts?
None
S8,
at a
sorry,
time.
S8. S8, sorry, S8.
S8. I'm very happy for the Zuckerman sisters. That's very awesome to get a feature
Mm-hmm.
job in the industry right now. I feel like you can tell in my voice that I'm just very, very burnt out on Scream right now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not what you want. I mean, I heard that there could be talks that they're going to be going into production on this one starting in December. I think that this franchise needs to go to bed for a very, very, very long time. See you whenever I
Mm-hmm.
am 40. I'm not kidding. There's just a
Yeah.
lot to unpack. And also, the horror genre needs to evolve so that there are more Scream films. That's the whole point. It's like the commentary. That's what Kevin Williamson's script was originally was about. And the horror genre needs to evolve in order for Scream films to be made. This right
Mm-hmm.
now is starting to feel like Netflix fare or like streaming content. There's no advancement. I mean, there's only so many times you can connect Sydney to another
Mm-hmm.
family member of a person that was affected by Ghostface. The Zuckerman sisters can get it right, make a solid film, put it to bed for 10 years, and then revisit it.
The last film was not received very well, it seemed by like everybody. I don't know. I don't remember how much money it made, but I mean, it's still a huge franchise.
Highest box office success for the franchise, Seven was.
I can see why they're mainly or right away being like, "Hey, Scream 8's greenlit. Write the script now. We're filming end of year." Because they know that no matter what, people are going to see Scream and come and see it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree. I think it's time for this franchise to go away for a little bit, come back in 10 years and do something else. Sidney Prescott, I think you've done enough. It's time. It's time for you to hang him up.
Hang up the fucking phone.
Hang up the fucking. Don't answer the phone anymore. Don't answer the phone.
Don't answer. You know what you probably should do? You
Don't even
just
answer
go,
text.
yeah, just do Morse code. You know, I
Do
feel like
Morse
it
code.
can't
Yeah.
reach you that way.
Do Morse code. Do Morse code.
In other news, Hans Zimmer hits the music charts with an unexpected collaboration with pop star Ray, debuting her single Click Clack Symphony. The pop star
Mhm.
dropped the single prior to releasing her latest album, This Music May Contain Hope. Now, Pat, how do you feel about our buddy Hans Zimmer hitting the music charts?
I think it's fucking awesome. That song rips, honestly. I
Yeah,
think it's fucking sick.
what do you think this means for the modern pop star? And like, I mean, move over Gracie Abrams and Sabrina Carpenter. I feel like this is like the most like penultimate like thing to
hmm
happen to you if you're a recording artist right now. Like, what do you think Zimmer is trying to do with this collaboration? And then also, what do you think this means for like younger generations after us, like
hmm
discovering not only film but score?
I think maybe Zimmer is even saying like, "Hey, you can use the music that I make that is for movies, but you can also like sing over them. Like the beat's great, the instrumentals are fantastic, and I think this song proves that Yeah, you can make a fucking banger of a song, honestly. And and to me, it's like maybe Ray is like loves Hans Zimmer. Like maybe that's one of her favorite artists, and she listens to him all the time. And it's very simple. Like she's probably brainstorming an album idea. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have Hans do this music for one of my tracks, and I just sing over it? Simple reach out, you take a risk, and it has paid off. And now you may see artists like that are up and coming, or even like a Sabrina Carpenter type of artist, Olivia Rodrigo, to be like, hey, this is another Hans Zimmer featuring track, and it's gonna be closing my album or right in the middle of my album. I think it's great. The song's awesome, and fuck yeah. That's what I gotta say is fuck yeah.
I like the utilization of this score, something that's very
Mm,
important to us both, being implemented into pop culture. It's very cool to see on the other side of just like being a film score nerd and seeing
mm-hmm,
Hans Zimmer get his flowers is very
mm-hmm,
beloved by us. And it was like seeing like our friend like have like a cool guy moment. Like I'm sure
yeah,
he's
mm-hmm,
buzzing right now, but I mean, for me, I think this is a direct response to Goranson. Hey,
yeah,
I'm still here. I'm still here,
mm-hmm,
and I'm doing stuff too, and I'm having fun. I feel like Zimmer has become underrated since the emergence of Ludwig Göransson, and I feel
mm-hmm.
like people aren't giving him his flowers as much as, you know. I mean, and Ray is. She was like, I'd rather do a collab with Hans Zimmer. There's room for everybody here, and
Mm-hmm.
we can't disrespect one of the greatest to ever do it.
I think we both want like other artists to collaborate with composers that do movie scores. Like,
Yeah, I let me see. Let me try to pair one together. Maybe Gracie Abrams and Carter Burwell. That's what I'll do. What
no,
about
I love
you?
it. Let me do Olivia Rodrigo and Lynn Ludwig. Let's do Olivia Rodrigo and
Okay.
Ludwig.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting collab. But
With a
hey,
Miles Caton feature?
yeah, Miles Kate, yeah. We're here for it. We're here for it.
Or
I want to
Haley
see it.
Steinfeld?
Or at least I, yeah, Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, she's right there.
In other news, we are wishing a very, very, very happy birthday to Boy Meets World star William Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney. Daniels turned 99 years old this week. Pat, how do you want to celebrate one of your favorite teachers in TV and film's birthday this week? I mean, I feel like 99 years old is insane to think about.
Hmm.
It's almost overwhelming, but why don't you just take over and talk about, you know, someone that maybe hasn't checked out Boy Meets World, why Mr. Feeney's so important?
For those that don't know, Boy Meets World is my favorite television show. I watch it all the time. I think it's
Really?
incredible. And Mr. Feeney is one of the best characters ever written. And I picked like three, I would say they're iconic quotes for me or my favorite moments from the show. I mean, the most probably iconic quote is at the very series finale. Sorry, spoiler if you haven't seen the show. The last line of the show are by Mr. Feeney. He says, I love you all, class dismissed. And perfect ending. He loves his students. He loves the main cast members. It's perfect. Perfect. Another quote that I love is from season three. And the episode is Ray Vaughn. Corey walks up to Mr. Feeney and says, Mr. Feeney, what are you doing tonight? And he turns to him and he goes, hanging with Sean Hunter at the ball. Just the way he delivers it. It's perfect. But for that quote, and then my last quote is also from season three when Eric asks Mr. Feeney if he had ever heard of a school called Yale. And he's like, do you mean Yale? He's like, yeah, that one. Is that one any good? But then at the very end of the episode, Eric says, like, I appreciate you getting me into Yale. And he's like, I couldn't get you into Yale. I couldn't get you into a Yale sweatshirt. Just the way he says it. But just I pulled those two quotes just because of the dynamic between Corey and Mr. Feeney from like the earlier seasons, like the very first two and kind of the third one. But then the third one is when it became more Eric and Feeney kind of thing. And just the relationship between them and like the mentor aspect of it and just how every kind of like every line of dialogue from Mr. Feeney was like a life lesson of like some basic life lessons. And sometimes you just got to take yourself out of things to understand that, hey, everyone goes through things and the smallest things in high school or middle school are huge life lessons. And I just think the relationship between Feeney and the characters in the show is just perfect. And William Daniels, 99, he's also in The Graduate. He is Dustin Hoffman's dad in The Graduate. For people that don't know that, Mr. Feeney, one of the greatest ever. One of the greatest ever.
Mr. Feeney is one of the best comfort characters of all time.
Mm,
It's absolute comfort character
mm.
for sure.
We love
Happy
him. Mm.
birthday to William Daniels and saying that He has turned 99 years old this week.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Crazy. So I hope you liked my acting or reading of the lines of Boy Meets World. So another piece of news this week is that the Weapons prequel, Gladys, is officially moving forward. Zach Shields is writing the script with Zach Kreger. Zach Shields worked on Godzilla versus Kong. So I don't know, do with that information what you will, but I assume him and Kreger are pretty good friends. That's why he's probably on the script. But no surprise, Academy Award winner won for this role. Emmy Madigan. So I think Gregor said that he's kind of had this idea for a while. He probably has like a loose outline of what he would do, but I'm curious to
Yeah.
see if they have Amy Madigan in it or if it's just a young Gladys.
I think some people have been like pitching like character ideas for what the Weapons prequel could be, should be.
Hmm.
Like saying like Emma Stone should play Gladys or like Jennifer
Yeah,
Lawrence,
I could
like
see that. I could see Emma Stone
maybe
actually. I could see Emma
even like
Stone.
Chapel Roan, like just like some like weird ones like
People
that.
with red
If
hair. People with red
no, literally, yeah. Like, oh, I have red hair. I can play Aunt Gladys. Yeah, totally.
hair.
If I had the opportunity to like talk about what the Gladys prequel should be with Zach Kreger, I'd tell him I think it'd be really interesting to like kind of be like a little derivative of The Witch, kind of go the route of, well, like the whole thing in Weapons was that Gladys could not restore her health or her life or her youthfulness by
Hmm.
kidnapping those children or even feeding off of her air quote family. Sorry, I'm spoiling Weapons. But you've had all fucking year to see Weapons, so it's your fault. With the little boy, and she needs the little boy's help. What it could be would be like, what if it's like a younger Gladys and or keep Amy Madigan in that role and Amy Madigan prior to kidnapping those children and everything that happens in I think it's Maybrook is the name of the town with her witch coven sisters kind of being like they're all useful and beautiful and like you could have like some really cool like names in there like some really cool talent that are interesting
Hmm.
and but they're actually like old decrepit women and be like
Hmm.
Gladys your magic isn't working like why and like that be like the prequel of like how did she get
Hmm.
there, did someone help her maintain like her health in her youth like at the beginning and then that person like died or
Hmm.
like kind of like deep dive into it that way. I know it's not like a linear story but it's at least like still playing around with Gladys. That would be the idea that I pitched. You?
Hmm. I like that idea a lot. And because you mentioned the witch, I feel like maybe Anya Taylor-Joy should be in this as
See, that'd
Gladys.
be great. That'd be
As a young
great.
Gladys, as a young Gladys.
Yeah, or
Yeah, like
like
how she
Gladys's.
yeah, how she
Yeah,
became into it. Yeah. Maybe it's been
yeah,
a whole family lineage that has been going on for a long time and people just didn't know about it. I'm curious to see what he does because Kreger has the Resident Evil movie coming out this year and Weapons was an Academy Award winning film. So he directed an Academy Award winning performance. So
yeah.
really excited to see.
I'm excited to see it too. This is all just getting thrown on the board. None of it might not even happen, or may
Hmm.
not happen. It's like the how it is right now. But we'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see.
We're intrigued.
Speaking of intrigued, so not exactly film news, but it is news pertaining to a film property. The
Mm.
Halloween video game multiplayer overview trailer released, and I wanted to show Pat and take a look at the upcoming asymmetrical action horror game developed by Ilphonic. This game is launching on September 8th, Pat. So you saw the trailer,
I
kind of got a
did.
feel
Mhm.
for the world. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Are you excited for this? I mainly wanted to throw this on the news because I do know that you are a video game player. And then
Mhm.
also that for the commentary podcast, a little bit of trivia here in case Pat ever throws it on the channel. Halloween was your first commentary podcast episode. So
It
I wanted to
was. It was.
just wanted to talk about one of your favorite franchises.
I love that they're making this game. There was a game that came out a while ago now, Friday the 13th, which seems like it's kind of going for the same vibe as that, where you're playing as Jason and going around and killing people. And this one I was here playing as Michael Myers, going around and killing people in Haddonfield. I assume there's going to be probably an online version. There's another game out now, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you can play online, where the whole thing is online, but you play as either the family or the victims and you try to get away. I assume this is kind of what this is going for as well. There may be a storyline also within the game. My only gripe would be the Friday the 13th game no longer has online servers at all. And I don't know if the Texas Chainsaw game is going to follow that same way once people just stop playing it, especially if this new slasher horror movie franchise video games coming out that kind of has the same feel to it. I know Halloween is a huge franchise. The game looks a lot of fun. I just don't know how long it will last in the culture of playing online when it seems like these games are geared towards being online. And if you eventually turn your servers off, what's the point of the game anymore? I hope there's a cool storyline with it, but yeah, I mean, it looks a lot of fun. It looks a lot of fun. I like games like this.
For me, I really liked how they implemented some of the how you can actually try to like kill other
Hmm.
characters in it by what is it? Shape jumping. That was
Hmm.
interesting. Michael not being able to see directly if you're flashing a light in his face.
You could play as the victim and like warn the other people in the area
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like,
So
yeah.
I think they're learning, but unfortunately, you've done two big properties already that could have used a
Hmm.
solid storyline in your video game. But it seems like they are learning that they do need a sequential
Yeah.
storyline in
They
order
need to
for these
expand it
games to
more.
thrive. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it does look like there's going to be a world here. That being said, I am really excited to watch you play this.
I think it's gonna be fun. I didn't realize doesn't come out for a while. So it means they could be dropping these trailers to be like, what do you guys think? And then they take the like, hey, this doesn't, I don't know if this is gonna be, and they can rework patching and, but yeah, I like how it's more intricate. Like it seems like it adapts to what you're doing. Like it could be like you're playing as the victims and you tell the people in the town, maybe Michael gets smarter at how to kill you. Like he's listening, and I like the games that are able to adapt and not just very basic, same thing over and over again. So my just yeah,
I
I'm only hesitant with just the online play is how long will that last? Because it hasn't
I
lasted for other games.
I would argue that in a world where AI is being used for every single bit, even critical thinking, that I am personally okay with there being like an augmented like thing serving as like either another player or a character in a game that you have to like fight and defeat that's like learning from how you're playing the game. That is the only situation where I am like comfortable with like it being something that I consume.
No, I agree. But I mean, I think it looks a lot of fun. I'm excited to play it. So I can't wait to buy it.
I couldn't wait. I was very excited that I gave you a chance to talk about it for our listeners.
Yeah, I love the slasher kind of survival games. They're fun. They're kind of scary, but they're fun.
They're fun. I'm excited for this one for sure. Launching on September 8th.
September 8th, you heard it first. Breaking news. So that brings us to our trivia of the week. And last week, our trivia question was, in what year was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban released? And I gave the hint that it was in the 2000s. And the answer was 2004. So if you got that right, congratulations. I saw that in theaters. Opening night, 2004. Well, it was all in theaters. I think it was in June.
I was 10 years old.
I was 12. And the question for this week is Steven Spielberg has won 2 Oscars for directing. What are the films he won for? And the hint is they both came out in the 1990s. So he has won 2 Academy Awards for directing. He has won other ones for picture, but he has one for directing. What are the films? 2 of them. There are 2 of them. So that brings us to our film score recs of the week. And Tony, what is your film score rec of the week?
Mine, I've been kind of in a nostalgia kick lately. I've been
Hmm.
searching for things that make me feel good. I am gonna recommend Once Upon a Time in New York City by Huey Lewis and the News, from the animated classic Oliver and Company, 1988. I just
Hell yeah.
love how hopeful that song is, and the intro is so good. If you're looking for some nostalgia, go watch that movie.
Hell
What's
yeah.
yours?
Really underrated Disney film that nobody seems to really talk about anymore is Oliver
I
and
think
Company.
so too.
Bring it back to the parks. Bring it back to the park. My film score rec is The Thin Red Line from Hans Zimmer. Incredible score. I think I may have recommended this film, but I didn't recommend the score. So go listen to the score. It's fucking great. They've used the song Journey to the Line a few times in trailers before, but I highly recommend. We talked about Hans Zimmer earlier, so I figured, hey, let's give another Hans Zimmer rec at the end.
I love
uh,
it. I love it. I love it.
it's a war film. Came out the same year. Something that I may have almost just spoiled, but as a trivia question, but came out the same year as something that may be one of the answers to the trivia questions. I highly recommend the Hans Zimmer. I have it on vinyl. It's great. It's great. The Thin Red Line. So that brings us to our recommendation this week. And Tony, what is your film recommendation this week?
My face literally melted off whenever I watched this film for the first time. I'm still kind of like thinking about what I've witnessed and like how I have new standards for kind of like a lot of the stuff that's out right now.
Hmm.
First of all, my recommendation is if you have not seen The Prestige, directed by Christopher Nolan, that film came out in 2006. Yeah, I mean that alone as well. It's a 20-year-old film. That's insane. I really loved what I saw in that film, and I hope nobody that watches it for the first time gets spoiled on it. I was just really impressed. I liked the smallness of it. I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of the superhero films that Nolan worked on afterwards gave him this almost this like self responsibility to make these grand epics, and I felt
Hmm.
personally for me that this film operated very well on its own, being so small. I still think
Hmm.
that Christopher Nolan's best film is Ben-Hur, but that is just me. But that's a joke for anybody that's listening right now. I don't actually think that Christopher Nolan directed Ben-Hur. That was a joke that I said
If he
earlier to
was
Pat, and he was cracking up.
if he was alive in the 50s, he very well could have made Mender.
His greatest film. This is his greatest film. What about
Yeah,
you?
I think I told you that I wish that he would go back to those lower, and it's not even really like a low budget, but just like he said, a smaller scale film.
Yeah,
But I don't think he ever will. He's the epic guy now. He's the top director in Hollywood. But hey, there are some people that think that's his best film, and honestly, they might not be wrong. Might not be wrong. My recommendation this week is Modern Times from 1936. It is directed by Charlie Chaplin. I think it's perfect. It's a masterpiece. It blends silent film into the new era of sound. Chaplin was one of the last people that were from that silent era to finally transition into sound. He thought that silent films were more effective in that way. And I think that when you watch it, you realize just how much of a performer he was and how much he just carried the entire film through his body performance. And technically a silent film, but it's incredible. And I know people are deterred from watching silent films because they're like, there's obviously no sound or dialogue, but there is some in here. But yeah, if you have never seen a silent film before and you want to maybe branch into that, this might be a good starting point because it does blend the sound with silent. And Charlie Chaplin is just one of the best to ever do it. One of the best to ever do it.
I love your recommendation.
And I love yours too. Both
Oh, well,
masterpieces.
thank you.
Both masterpieces. Both masterpieces. And with that, that brings us to the end of this weekly news recap. I want to thank you all once again for joining us on this journey, listening to us every week, talk about the news. A lot of news, so some news doesn't matter. We're here every week to talk about it, and we love doing this for you guys. And we really, really appreciate every single one of you for coming on this journey with us. Tony, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I really exciting month. Got lots of good commentary tracks coming out for the month of
Hmm.
April. I swear we are not always this cranky about films coming out. I just feel like the more established that we get into the year 2026, there's just like a specific standard
Hmm.
whenever it comes to, making a choice to go to the movies and check these out or just waiting for streaming. I feel like we make a good argument for these films every single week. There might not always be an argument there, but now that we're getting further and further into 2026, it's becoming pretty apparent like these films are asking you to put stock into them and pay to go see them out in theaters. I feel like our episodes kind of argue whether or not you should and kind of break that down a little bit.
I think once May hits, I think it's going to be a train rolling. It's going to be steam rolling. There's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
stuff coming, but
Yeah.
I think we're kind of bracing for that. April does seem a little light with releases, but hey, we're going to keep talking about them. We're going to try and check them out so we can recommend what we like to our audience.
Exactly. Exactly.
And with that, that brings us to the end. And hey, Tony, go watch a fucking movie.
Hey, Pat, go watch a fucking movie.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.